I love that. Thank you, Ben. That's amazing. Hi, everybody. Ron Onesti here outside of I'm in St. Charles, outside of Chicago, Rock and Roll Heaven, the Arcada Theater. Hanging and banging with you, Artists on Lockdown. Each week we are here Thursday nights. And this week I am oh my gosh. Now, we've had legends. We've had icons. Matter of fact, I'm on this show every week with two legends and icons. But this week, we've got a couple guys that are truly incredible. We're going to start with the first one in a minute. I can't even say his name without getting so excited. My palms are sweaty. But let me bring my big brother to the microphone first, Mr. Carmine Apiece. We're going to talk about hi, Carm. First of all, how was your daughter's wedding? How cool was that,
It was awesome. It looked like The Godfather.
You look like the Godfather.
With my hair combed back and a tuxedo with a black shirt, it looked like The Godfather. Walking down there, she's got this big-ass dress, long trail on it, ridiculous. But it was a good time. It was very Halloween-oriented, and it was really cool.
Really. I'm so glad, man. Yeah, my lateral brother, your younger brother, Vinny Appice, won't be with us tonight. He is on the road doing sound checks. Vinny, we're going to miss you tonight, but we will somehow muddle through. At least I know no one's going to really pick on me very much. I mean, you pick on once in a while, you throw a little shot. He goes for my freaking jugular. So I'm gonna relax a little bit tonight. But tonight,
I have to think of something to pick on you for.
You know what? Okay. You really can't. I mean, look, it's obvious you can't find anything.
No, you're good today. I like that jacket actually.
It's a good look, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Hey, man, we could small talk all you want. However,
but
I can't believe we got Dion on the show.
Oh, I know, right?
I mean, each week we talk about legends. We also talk about the Italian connection. A lot of these guys have been Italian, but you're talking about connection with being Italian, being from the Bronx, and just being one of the greatest rock and rollers of all time. I'm going to bring him because I can't.
Hall of Famer.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Please, I think it was 88 or 85. Anyway, please welcome Dion Damucci. Hey, buddy. I know you get tired of this, right, Dion? You get tired of the accolades?
Yeah, terrible.
I know. I could tell. But it's really something, Dion. I know. You're like, oh, please, because you're a very humble guy. I got the opportunity to work with you a few years ago. You're a neighborhood.
Uh-oh.
And you know what? Very few comments you give the guys like us that is greater than saying, you're a neighborhood guy, right?
Well, if I didn't know me, I might be impressed. But I happen to know, But I was just up in the neighborhood, Arthur Avenue, Mario's.
Wow.
Mike's Deli. Go by David at Mike's Deli. We lost Mike, I think, last year, but love Mike's Deli. Go by Gerard at Gino's for a cannoli.
No, I was there with David Greco.
Jerome, rather.
Place, man. We get the fresh mozzarella. We try to get it back to the apartment. You get fresh mozzarella, right? And you get in the car. You have 4 of them, and the car is loaded, and they very rarely make it back to the apartment.
Eat them like an apple.
Did you ever? I toured in Italy with an Italian artist, and his whole band was Italian, and we'd go around, and all they would get was a ball of cheese. A ball of mozzarella, right? And we'd eat it all the way through Italy. So the other day we got a message as my daughter got married, and he said, "Congratulations, ball of cheese." That was awesome.
I'll tell you how much I love cheese. I have 3 daughters. And when they would eat out at a friend's house, and somebody would put out a little shaker of cheese, they thought they were individual cheese. Ooh, how cute. We have our own individual. No, they went, that's for the whole table. They were like, are you kidding me? My father takes the top off. It's like.
Yep. Little olive oil, salt, and pepper. Come on.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
Awesome.
But David, it's so good to see you. So, there's so many questions that we have for you, and I love to talk about some of this stuff and some of the origins of songs and stuff, and that'll be fun. But I really want to get to your new project first because it's very exciting.
Yeah.
The album, if it doesn't win, I don't know, 30 or 40 or 50 awards, I don't know what should. because this compilation that you've put together is literally mind blowing. You're talking about Springsteen and Clapton and Billy Gibbons and Frampton, Paul Simon, Van Morrison. I mean, it goes on. Joe Bonamassa, of course. Let me ask you a little bit about it. So it's called Stomping Ground, right? And first of all, it's blues centric. So is that because of Joe's influence? Is that because of your personal influence at the beginning?
Is that Joe's label you're on?
I am.
Wow.
Joe's manager. Here's what happened. Joe's manager, Roy Weissman, lives across the street from me.
Oh,
see, that's how it works.
And by the way, Jason Bonham lived right in my community.
yeah.
And his dad probably, everybody says he learned how to set the drums up because of you, and he studied you.
Yeah.
So that whole so I'm like working. Your grandson lived around here. Anyway,
Wow.
I'm writing better than ever. So I write these songs. I go in, I record 14 songs. This is on an album I put out last year called Blues with Friends. I grew up to Jimmy Reed. When I was a kid and I heard Jimmy Reed say, if you ever say goodbye, honey, if you ever leave me and say goodbye, you better take some insurance out on me. I'm going to lay right down and die. And I thought that was clever. Thing blew my mind, changed me forever. I'm still the same. I'm still like in awe with all that stuff. So I heard Jimmy Reed grooving, and I heard Hank Williams, honky tonk blues. And I was learning how to live through listening to these records. And I wanted to communicate like Hank Williams, and I wanted to groove like Jimmy Reed. He just had that roll, that swing. Anyway, I don't think The Wanderer or Ruby Baby, I don't think any of the songs I ever recorded would have happened without. That's like in my DNA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as a songwriter, actually, I'm getting better. I'm evolving. I'm developing. I'm maturing. It's like we were like acorns. Now we're like oak trees,
Yeah.
So I write these songs. I go in, I record them, and Joe Bonamassa stops by and he hears one of the songs. He says, Dion, I want to play on that. He says, that's
cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had the tracks. So I said, hey, be my guest, So he takes off on it, and I'm in my truck, and I'm listening to it on the way home. And I kid you not, Ron, come on, I thought I could write a song. I know how to sing it. I know how to make a record, but I am totally limited. When you get a great artist contributing what they're hearing on the record, not what I'm hearing. So he spun me out in another universe, and I started thinking on the way home, maybe I could get Sonny Landreth to play on this, or Eric Clapton to play on If You Want to Rock and Roll. So I send the song to Eric Clapton, and he was like, Dion, you were part of my music wake up with Big Bill Brunzy and Muddy, and
Yep.
He said, I've lived such a charmed, grateful life. I'm just, to play with my heroes like B.B. King and Albert King and make tribute albums to Robert Johnson. And he said, now you're calling me to, he said, I tell you what, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to play like I'm playing for 20,000 people. And man,
wow.
if you listen to the song, he sounds like he's 19 on it, man. He's really
incredible.
We got the album. We got the album, right? And I didn't read who was on it. And I played the first track. And I said, wow, this is freaking awesome, man. I said, who the hell is that playing guitar? I thought it was G.E. Smith, and then when I look closer, it says Joe Bonamassa. Then I look down, Eric Clapton, Peter Frampton, all these guys. I said, wow, I did an album called Guitar Zeus, where I got all these great guitar players on it, like 37 tracks of Guitar Zeus. And I felt like I know what he's doing, It's like, bringing in all these people to play on your music. It's amazing, and your album is amazing.
Well,
Ron's right. You're going to win. You're going to be on the blues charts, probably #1, and you're going to get awards for that.
I think
And your
your
voice sounds great.
I think it could be a rock. It could be an adult AC. I mean, I think it transcends the blues charts. I really, really do. I mean, every song was just amazing. Dion, how did you select? I mean, you sent it over to Eric. I know how Joe obviously is why he's a part of it, but some of these other guys, and you got Pete Townsend doing your forward. I mean, how did you put all these people together? Right? Or why did you select certain ones?
Ron, you won't believe this. I couldn't plan it if I tried. You know, Pete Townsend, I was up at Sirius a while ago, and he breaks into the studio with Roger, and he says, "How did you record Spoonful? You recorded that record in 1965. How did you do it?" I said, "Well, I was listening to the Staples things, and I went out and I bought this Gibson Birdland guitar with a tremolo pedal. And I came into the studio. I was the first rock and roller signed to Columbia Records. So I walk into the studio. I got the Apollo Theater Band in the studio. You would appreciate this. Come on, I had Styx Evans, Panama Francis,
wow,
Big Buddy Lucas on horn, and Mickey Guitar Baker on guitar. And I just said, "Follow me," and that's the record.
So you play guitar?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh man, I could play. A lot of people don't know it.
Great. I didn't know you play guitar.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know I play guitar. Because you want to know, come on, when I started, you know this, the doo-wop group, the record company used to say, "Put the guitar down. Lead singers don't play guitars. Put the guitar down." So I had to learn how to do.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah, but I'm a guitar guy, and I hang out with Joe Menza. I don't know if you know my great friend of mine, Joe Menza. He's best guitars. He Bonamassa buys a lot of guitars from him because he has these great vintage guitars. And I tell you, Carmine, you wouldn't believe the kind of guitars these guys use on this album. Yeah. If I had to tally it up, they have the I didn't know
the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And G.E. Smith, which I wish he was here right now. I know he's going to be on the show, but I mean, there's nobody like this guy. He's like, king of the Telecaster. He could make that thing talk, and these guys have the ability. The beautiful thing about it is when you play with them, they have the ability to get inside the song.
Yeah.
If you moan or hum or scream or just punctuate a word, they're right there doing something to enhance it. I don't know how but they almost hear the song in advance or something.
Mm-hmm.
They hear what's coming. And G.E. Smith, man, I wanted him to play on one song on this album. I had my own sound that I thought he'd come up with, but he came up with G.E. Smith. That's what he came up with. And
did you produce?
Yeah, I sent these guys. Everybody, I sent them a completed track. I wrote the song, went in the studio, band played, I sang. The songs were completed when I sent them out. Listen to that. I got to tell you a story. I love to talk, but
good. That's what we do here.
but I tell you, I sent a song to Patti Scialfa and Bruce Springsteen called "Angel in the Alleyways." And it's the only song on the album that I didn't complete. I just sent it to them with just guitar and vocal. Because I wanted Patti, because she has this great vibrato that works great with my voice. Because I sing like Hank Williams, like flat.
Right.
So I sent it to her, and she says, did you forget to send me the bass and the drums, or what's on this tune? I said, Patty, I don't have anything on it. I said, I'd like to hear some harmonies on it. And maybe you could echo some lines. Maybe you could stack some vocals. Well, Ron, Bruce and Patty send me back 64 tracks.
Oh.
My whole career is in 64 tracks. I'm like, you want to feel loved? I mean, when people send you back 64 tracks, you know they were like thinking about you and
taking you seriously.
Right. I'm like, they didn't phone it in. So I'm like, so I was talking to Bruce and he said to me, Dion, he said, everything you hear on that record is a Patty Scalfa production. The song resonated with her so greatly that she just wanted to, she heard what should be on there. So everything you're hearing on there, my guitar, my harmonica playing, it's her.
Oh,
wow.
And she stacked vocals. There's like 6 verses on the song. Every verse, she did something differently.
It's incredible. You know, she's a very underrated or unsung hero. She is. I mean, she really is compared to what she should be. I mean, she's obviously hugely respected and everything, but I hugely underrated, I believe.
I call her the Jersey Soul Girl, Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Really, she's very artistic. She's an artist, for sure.
Hey, we talked about you touched on your good friend G.E. Smith, and I am just so excited to have one of the greatest guitarists in history on our show. There's so much about this guy that you guys know, from Saturday Night Live to Hall & Oates to so many other ones, but he's a great guy and just exactly one of the greatest guitarists of all time. Let's bring him on, G.E. Smith.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, brother. There he is.
Hey, dude.
Can you see me?
We see you.
All right. Dion, how you doing, man?
I'm good, George. Hey, good to see you.
Yeah. Carmine, it's a pleasure to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, man. I've never been on Saturday Night Live, but I recognize you immediately as soon as I saw
It's never
your
too
face.
late, man. It's never too late.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, brother. It's so nice to see you. And we were talking about you. We're talking about, obviously, Dion's new album and your part in it. And it's just good to see you, man. It's really good to see you. How you been since COVID? You've been doing all kinds of producing?
Doing okay. But, I just heard that story that Dion told about sending a song to Bruce and Patty. Now, other than maybe Bob Dylan or Paul McCartney, can you imagine anybody sending a song to Bruce and Patty and they even listen to it? No, it's Dion.
Or Clapton.
Right, listen.
Or Clapton, right?
Yeah.
Man.
I wouldn't even have the balls to send it to any of those guys.
Exactly.
Well, that's what happens when you get my age. It's like it's all out.
I'm almost your age, so don't
it
say
ain't
that.
age, Dion. It ain't age.
But
it ain't. I mean, it's
know,
unbelievable how you talk about, I mean, let's call it, you're 82, I believe. If you're not, you're close to that. But it's incredibly inspirational. Oh, yeah. But what's inspirational about Dion Damucci is that he's 82, but what is he talking about? I'm growing, I'm evolving, I'm developing. As soon as you hit puberty, it's going to be interesting.
Well, it's interesting. I'm glad I lived this long, because you know what?
So are we.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know what happened with this album, and GE is such a big part of it and I think you'd understand it. I always felt part of the musical community in a sense, but with this album, having being so close, everybody like contributing on different songs. It just, I hate to use the word. I don't know why. It's because it sounds drippy, but it makes you feel loved. You get all this, everybody just kind of contributing to you wrote. You just feel embraced by the musical community. I've never felt so close or so entrenched.
Celebrated.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Like I said, I did this Guitar Zeus record, and it was the same thing. I got all the great guitar players. I got Yngwie, Slash, Richie Sambora, I can't even remember, Leslie West, Ted Nugent, everybody. And it really felt so good to know that these guys are doing this for me. I said, wow,
Yeah, right.
you know. I said that's really awesome, and
Well,
now
that's a testimonial.
yeah, no,
You
in
guys.
November I have the 25th anniversary box set of it coming out. You know,
Cool.
which is awesome. But like I said,
Well,
when
you
I
know-
when I looked at your album, I looked at it. I said, "Oh my God, he's like doing a guitar zeus, a blues guitar zeus." You
How
know?
did? Hey, Carmine, how do you like? Did you start in a garage in Brooklyn, or do you blow everybody out of your mother's apartment?
You mean with the drums? No,
Yeah.
we had a porch. We had a
Nice.
porch. That, at first, it was a cellar in Brooklyn. You know,
Huh.
not a basement. It was a stone cellar. And my
Right.
grandfather was a shoemaker. So sometime I'd be down there trying to practice, and he'd be banging on the shoe, and in a different tempo. And I say,
Yeah.
"Hey, Grandpa, can you tap in this tempo like this?" You know. And he'd run out and go manaj and curse me out in Italian and go
Manaj.
upstairs. You know.
Yeah, man, I
You know?
just get it.
And then we graduated to our own house around the corner, and we had an enclosed porch, it was proper porch, and that's screened in. And we had a drum set on there, and that's where I did most of my practice. And then later years, when my brother started playing, he started on the same porch. I left the drum set home, and I went in there when he was like 9 years old. And he said, "Hey, come and listen to this." He's pulling me by the pants. I go when he starts playing, and I said to my mother, "How did he learn this?" He goes, "He's in there every day. He's driving me crazy like you did." So when we did an album together, and I wrote a song called "Brothers and Drums," and it tells that story.
Oh.
And I actually put that in it. I said, and my mother said, "He's driving me crazy like you did." I put it in there as part of the music.
Is that song in Drum Wars when you do it?
We don't do it live yet. No,
It
we haven't
should
done
be.
it.
Are you kidding me?
Well, we haven't done it, because nobody
You
knows it.
should.
You know.
Well, because you don't play it.
Well,
Let them know.
Yeah.
that's true. Oh, he's got a guitar. He's got a guitar in his hand.
Look at these guys.
Look out.
You know, G, we all grew up on Saturday Night Live. We all loved it. But for me personally, obviously, we loved all the comic. I mean, that's what it was. But for me personally, the music part of it was like the treat. It was the bonus. Obviously, you had some great experiences there. Is there any one particular performance that's like a standout night that musically would just blew your mind?
There was so many.
Yeah. I was going to say it's like too many to remember.
I'm a band guy. I'm an old bar band guy. That's how I came up. So I loved it when a real band would come on, like when Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were on. They were on a couple times. It was a real band. These guys have been playing together for years. It sounded like a band. It was great. Nirvana.
What about Sly? Was Sly?
No, Sly wasn't on when I was there.
Wow.
That would have been something. Man,
Yeah.
some of the best performances I ever saw, Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah, they used to open up for Vanilla Fudge.
Yes, I remember.
And I think, that the Larry Graham hitting with the thumb and pulling the string. Tim Bogert used to do that, but he didn't play it funky. He just bang the string, pull on the string, and Larry saw it, and then he came up with that funk thing.
Did Sly open for you guys at the Fillmore East?
No, at Westbury.
At Westbury, okay. Because I saw both bands, but I couldn't remember if I saw Sly opening or what.
Yeah, we had. Who was it? Zappa opened up at Westbury one time.
Really?
We had a lot of crazy people.
Out on the island, yeah.
Yeah.
Led
Zeppelin opened up for us. Yeah,
I knew that. Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, that was
That's
funny.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
How was that night? I mean, talk about that, Carm. I mean, you got but was Led Zeppelin when they opened for you at the time?
No, Led Zeppelin was
big.
but the album wasn't out yet. It was Led Zeppelin. It was Vanilla Fudge and Spirit in Denver, sold out, 8,000 people, and the promoter didn't want it. He said, "We're sold out. We don't need him." They had our agent, so our agent said, "Well, I'll tell you what. They're only $1,500. You pay $750, and Vanilla Fudge will pay $750." So we paid them $750 to open up for us that night. And when they got on, there was people clapping, "Bring on the fudge! Bring on the fudge!" It's like 6 months later, they were as big as we were.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, first of all, we talked a little bit about being from the neighborhood, and I mentioned jazz, Bronx Tale, that whole thing. But, the Bronx Tale, the film, and Arthur Avenue. I mean, let people know just how real that is. That Neighborhood versus a Bronx Tale movie.
Yeah, I was just up there. But let me say something. I just want to echo something you said about Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
I used to watch it because of G.E. Smith too. Because the band and the attitude.
It was great.
No, I just love the attitude that came off the stage with the band and the way he always played. You know, the way it sounded. Just that it just expressed the heart of kind of why I got in this business. You know.
Thank you.
Just
along with that, Dion, along with that attitude was the style. I mean, your freaking clothes, the ponytail, the whole thing. I mean, really, I gotta say, it was freaking style.
Who played drums with you on there?
We had several different drummers. Chris Parker started, and then eventually Sean Pelton, who's still there.
Right. Wow.
You know,
No kidding.
Yeah. And then there was a couple guys. Steve Jordan played a couple times. He'd been on and off the show, at various times over the years. But the thing was that Lorne Michaels gave us that little window. They'd have 12 seconds or something left over.
Yeah.
When the comedy stuff would be done, and they're going to go to commercial. And the show back then was live. No 7-second delay, no nothing. It was live.
Yeah.
So they got 12 seconds, and they'd say, do something. The rest of the band, everybody else in the band except me, were real musicians. I mean, like I said, I'm this bar band guy, right? And I'm playing with like the heaviest jazz cats in New York,
And they probably all read.
Oh, they read like incredible. With their eyes closed, they read. And so, I thought, well, I got these little opportunities here. I'm going to play, bluesy stuff, the stuff I love, or we would do whatever, different songs that I just wanted to tip a hat to some band or do something.
So that was your decision.
A lot of times, yeah. Yeah, a lot of times.
How many people watched an episode of that average?
Many millions. I don't actually know the real number.
Yeah, because I remember we told a story when Vanilla Fudge did at Sullivan. We went down the elevator, and I said to the elevator operator, I said, "Hey, man, how many people watch the show?" He goes, "Oh, about 50 million.
Yeah.
My stomach just went,
Right?
Until I actually hit the drums and started playing. But 50 million. Wow.
Remember elevator operators?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And it would close. The gate would close, open and close. The gate.
Yep. The gate.
I did want to touch. Here's the thing. I love that's why I was touching on this, Dan. I love the neighborhood. I just wanted to, and are you in that neighborhood quite a bit?
Yeah, well, I was just there last week. In fact, I went up there with my friend Joe Menzer. We were filming some stuff for Stomping Ground. I wrote a song called Stomping Ground. It's the name of the album. I thought, let me go up to my stomping ground and do some, we do it with the iPhone on 4K,
Yeah.
We just have fun doing it. And I saw David Greco. We went in there. I gained 50 pounds. You know what I mean?
Mike's Deli.
Yeah. When you come from a neighborhood like that, I always say I don't sing white. I don't sing black. I sing Bronx. I sing. It's like black music filtered through an Italian neighborhood. It comes out with an attitude.
Yeah.
No, it's like, but any kind of. I was talking to Kev Mo about this because we did a Jimi Hendrix song on this album together. Nothing like. I wouldn't.
Actually, I wanted to say that I've never heard Red House played in an 8th note field. It's always been 6/8.
Yeah.
Right? Always.
Always.
When I saw it on there, Red House, I said, I got to see how he does this. And I was expecting the 6/8, and I heard it, boom, boom, batch, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
I said, oh, nice, man. There you go.
Yeah.
The Red House will be on. I can hear that.
Oh, look at this. We go jamming here. Come on.
Yeah.
And I love it.
That's my
I
favorite.
can play with the sticks,
It's my favorite Jimi Hendrix record.
That's it.
Yeah, were you around New York when Jimi Hendrix was playing in the clubs?
No, I saw him down at Gulfstream here in Miami.
Yeah, yeah, because I was playing gigs with him, and we played gigs together, and he was still doing the same stuff, playing with his teeth, being real flamboyant with his clothes. He was called Jimmy James and the Blue Flames.
Right.
And I'll never forget this one night we went up, we played up in 77th and Broadway. It was a place called the Lighthouse. We played half, he played half, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. And then they would play the disco for an hour. So we both get a break. So we went up to this black prostitute's apartment. That's what the neighborhood was. And we were smoking joints, and Jimmy's looking out the window. He goes, man, one day I want to make it, He hands me the joint. I said, you know what? I don't really care if I make it. I just want to make a living playing music, And then time goes on. 3 years later, I'm in London at the Speakeasy, and he's Jimi Hendrix, and I'm Vanilla Fudge. So I go up to him and I talk to him. I said, do you remember that day at the Lighthouse? Yeah, he says, yeah, I do remember that. And he said, what are you doing here? I said, I'm with Vanilla Fudge. He goes, man, I love the fudge. He said. And I slapped him 5. I said, wow, how cool. And we did a lot of gigs with him. We became friends again. It was really
legendary.
But, I'm surprised that you, from being from the Bronx, hadn't seen him, playing around New York. I don't know, maybe you made it to, how old were you when you made it with Dion and the Belmonts?
I was like 17.
Yeah, that's why.
1957. Yeah, I was, God, I used to, but what I did do was we'd go down to the Apollo Theater, and they had all that big band. And I did work the Apollo Theater when we put out I Wonder Why. They, of course, they thought we were black. But, I started like just listening to the big band. And on the way back on the subway, I would put these arrangements together. Like if you listen to The Wanderer or Run Around Sue,
yeah,
they're all Apollo big band arrangements. Like,
yeah.
Like I would just get like The Wanderer. If you listen to it, like I got the group going in harmony.
Yeah.
And it was like the saxes,
Yeah.
Hold on.
And I used to love that. And I talked to Dan Morrison about it. I said I always wanted to sing like a sax, like because then Red Prysock used to come out in the front of the stage with his white suit, his horn,
Nice, man. Nice.
And we would get up and we were nuts. They'd have to throw us out of the place. The guy was just burned. They'd have to rebuild the stage.
Did you guys ever do the Alan Freed shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably saw you at the Brooklyn Paramount. And I was like 10 years old. My older brother wouldn't take me, so my mother took me. Right? So I went to see Alan Freed with my mother, and I saw the 2 drummers and the big band, and that was it. I was hooked. I was like 10 years old. I was hooked, man. I saw the Ronettes, I saw the Flamingos, Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, all that stuff. Probably you guys. It just left such an impression on me.
Being backstage with those guys, like, even, I'd be talking to Little Richard's mother, Leva May.
Stop.
She'd be telling me, Dion, how did you sing Ruby Baby? Like, what do you, and I would have, she would compliment me. I told Richard, I said, if you said something nice about myself, I would have forgot about it. But your mother complimented me.
Yeah.
So
that's a big deal.
And Bo Diddley would be.
I got to know him. He's a nice guy, man.
Right.
And he cooked some great barbecue.
Yep.
He would go right in the dressing room. He would, you learn how to. My wife learned how to cook a lot of stuff from those guys. Big Buddy.
Wow. You've been with her that long?
Yeah,
Wow.
This is weird, man. I was 16, she was 14.
Wow. God bless, man.
Yeah, we're married forever.
But the common fallacy, though, the fallacy, her name is Sue, right? And she's not Runaround Sue, right? Let's make that clear to everybody right now.
She's not. No, that's funny, man. She's never been. What I put that girl through.
I always say to people, "Hey, you married?" I go, "I've been married 50 years." And they go, "Wow, that's great. I see you have 5 different women."
Yeah,
That's
hey,
great.
G, did you know Stick Sevens or Panama Francis? Or
Sure.
God, they were awesome, man.
Panama Francis, definitely. But Dion, I gotta say, man, you just mentioned The Wanderer, and The Wanderer has always been one of my favorite records. And I love the story you tell about that. You listen to the Apollo band and the horns, and then you arrange the vocals.
I'm gonna listen to it tonight.
The groove on The Wanderer is insane. You know,
well, you know what it was? I tell you what happened on that record. And Carmine, maybe you could help me with this because I still don't understand it. I went in to do an album and I brought in a bunch of songs. I did Kansas City and we did it as a shuffle,
Yeah. Do that.
So I said, I got another song that we put together. It's called The Wanderer. Same key, same shuffle. Let's do it. I said, just follow me. I said, the bridge is here, and I played it for them. And Panama Francis said, let's reverse the shuffle. And that's all I heard. And I remember him saying that. I didn't know what the hell he meant because I'm not a drummer. But if you listen to the record, I don't know what he's doing. I think
I gotta listen. Let me listen to it. I'll tell you.
I think he's hitting the
one, maybe the 1 and 3.
Yeah, it's that thing that they call an alternating shuffle, like wah, 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 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's just burning.
Right.
I don't know. I always thought maybe it was hitting the hi-hat on the underneath, or I tried because drummers asked me about it. I didn't know. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but
I gotta look it up.
But Dion, is it true that the Wanderer is actually a B-side of the original song that they wanted to put out there? Was it Majestic or something?
Yeah. You know the way. The way it was back then.
Whenever he fills up around.
You know the way it was back then. Chubby Checker had the twist, so they wrote a dance record called The Majestic.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything different.
You know what I'm saying?
Great song.
I think he's going to listen to the whole song.
I know.
Well, you guys
we can do.
Talk. I'll let you know.
Here's what we'll do. We have a commercial that we got to talk about for next week's show. I think now's a great time to go to our commercial. Let everybody know what's happening next week on Hangin' and Bangin'.
Hey, Carmine Peace here for Hangin' and Bangin'. Thursday, the 28th of October, we have Marky Ramone and Clem Burke. Now, Marky, of course, from the Ramones and Clem Burke from Blondie. It's going to be a high-energy show. So check it out. Artists on Lockdown, 7 p.m. on Facebook. Carmine Apiece Official on Facebook. Vinny Apiece on Facebook. Oh, or is it Appleseed? Vinny Appleseed Facebook at 4 p.m. So 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. We'll see you guys there. Keep rocking and let's kick some butt.
So continue that story, Dion, because I really like to know why. I mean, again, it was The Wanderer was originally a B-side. Is it an afterthought or what happened?
It just, I don't know. It turned over. The song is written about a guy named Jackie Burns. He lived in my neighborhood. He was like before his time. He was like, had all the tattoos, the tank top, the hair. And he had that. Used to walk down the street of Crotone Avenue like he owned the place. He just like owned it. But he went out with this girl Flo, and he had a name tattooed on his arm. Then he broke off with it, so he covered it up with a panther. Then he went out with Janie, and he had Harvey, and then he kept covering it.
Right.
And he had Rosie, and then he covered it up with a battleship or something. I don't know what.
Oh my God.
He thought,
Rosie on my chest.
Rosie on my chest because I'm a wanderer.
So that's a real deal. And you know what? It sounds like such a fun song and upbeat and everything. But if you really listen to the words, it's kind of like not a downer, but I mean, it's not as fun as you'd think.
yeah, if it was done today, it probably would be done a lot heavier, or maybe in a minor key. But back then, everything was done like, we had the horn,
Actually, and listening to the shuffle, I don't know what he was talking about. It just sounded like a normal shuffle to me.
Come on, it's like this. So it's got the real strong hand claps on 2 and 4, right?
Yeah.
So it's laying that out. But down in the rhythm section, it's in D. Dion, you sang that in D. You sang high, man. I love it. You way up there, your voice. Anyway, it's
All
like,
right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay. So on the other one, R2, R3, R4, R1,
down in the
R2,
rhythm
R3,
section.
R4. Shuffle,
yeah.
Okay. It's almost like ska.
Yeah,
Ska.
that's where ska came from. I'll tell you a great story about the ska thing, man. I did it. You ever hear this guy Garland Jeffries? Garland's made a lot of great records. He's a Brooklyn guy, Sheepshead Bay guy. Anyway, I'm playing on a Garland record, and he had hired some of Bob Marley's band, the Wailers.
Awesome.
And his keyboard player, Earl Lindo, who they called Wire, was there. So I started talking to him one night after the session, and he told me this story that in Jamaica in the 50s, late 50s, early 60s, they didn't have like great radios, and they certainly didn't have any kind of good speakers. So they had no low end. They would have a radio, and they would play it through those horns, like at the old ballpark.
Yeah.
Horn, right?
We used to have them in the vanilla fudge.
Right? Just the horns, no bottom end. So all they could hear was the real high. So he said there was a radio station from Miami and a radio station from New Orleans. They didn't like the stuff from Miami, but they liked the stuff from New Orleans. And it was Fats Domino, Professor Longhair, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it was, Fats going boom da 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 boom.
Yeah.
They couldn't hear the left hand because they couldn't hear the bass coming out of that metal horn. So
all you heard was the right hand.
And they saw it turned it around, and that's where it all came from. Yeah. So all they heard was the,
So when I was in England in 1973, and I heard reggae for the first time in ska. And the changes were like C, A minor, F, and G, and I said, "What is this 50s music? What is this thing?" And then I think Jeff told me, "This is reggae, man." I said, "Reggae," and I said, "Where's the bass drum? Is on 2 and 4. What's that about?"
Yeah.
And then I got into it, and I really loved it. When I played with Rod, we used to do Maggie May, and our bass player, Phil Chin, was from Jamaica. So he actually taught me how to play reggae, and we used to do a reggae version at the end of Maggie May. And Rod would sing like a Jamaican, and we'd go, "Oh, Maggie, I never," that was so much fun.
Who was playing guitar when you were playing with Rod?
We had 3 guitar players. We had Jim Cregan, Billy Peake that did all the Chuck Berry stuff, and this guy Gary Granger.
Okay.
And that was a great band. Phil Chen on bass.
Phil, yeah.
And,
Phil Chen, great guy. I did an album with him. He was so much fun.
You did? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He's very sick now.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, he's got stage 4 cancer somewhere. He's in San Diego with his daughter.
Do you have his number?
I do, actually. I do. We should exchange numbers since we live in Florida. Where do you live, G?
561.
Yeah, I'm 561 too. But I have an 805 number. G, where do you live?
I'm in Long Island.
Where in Long Island?
All the way out at the end, almost.
We're playing there at Riverhead at Suffolk Theater.
Yeah, that's a great theater.
With the Fudge and Robbie Krieger.
With
Next
Robbie
week.
Krieger, great.
Next week, actually, on the 29th.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Very
a great
cool.
show. I can't wait to
If
have
you're
you.
around, if you're
Yeah,
around,
man.
let me know. Come down.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, the
That's
boys would love
great.
to see you. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we brought up a few of your songs, obviously, but the one song I really need to know about because it seemed like it was, and I know you know it's coming, but kind of I don't know if it's a curveball of a song, but Abraham Martin and John, I mean, such a folky thing, and I don't know that you'd be known as a folky singer or folk singer. Some of your stuff had that basis. Tell me about how that whole thing came about, your social activity at that time as well.
I just had moved to Miami. I was, let me give you the short. I was a heroin addict for like 15 years.
Jeez.
Oh, man. It's amazing you made it to 82.
Yeah, from the age of 14 to 28.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
I kid you not. This is a true story, man. I moved down to Miami because I figured I have to change my life. And, you bring yourself with you. It's the geographical cure kind of thing. So I'm nuts. I'm like a crazy person. So I get on my knees one night. I said a prayer, and I haven't had a drug or a drink since. Like 54 years I've been.
Good for you, man.
And
God bless you.
High on life, So a guy walks in my house. His name is Phil Gernhardt. He walks in with this song. Well, he called first. Says, I got a song. And it was like, anybody here seen my old friend Abraham? Can you tell me where he's from? So I'm thinking this song is like a real, taking advantage of it. It's like.
I don't blame you hearing it like that.
Yeah.
I thought they really take, this is like trying to capitalize on people's deaths. And it just turned me off. And my wife said, no, she said, there's something to that song. She was something about it. So I took out the gut string guitar and I started, because at the time I just had moved down. I was hanging out in Greenwich Village, with Tim Hardin, with the gut string guitars and Kenny Rankin and all. So I took out the gut string guitar and I worked out this arrangement. I started thinking, and the thought came to me, you can kill the dreamer, but you can't kill the dream. Like I'm going to do this song, but I'm going to do it in a way. Now, I didn't think of a hit record or anything. I would just, I just thought, let me do the song.
Yeah.
So I tried it. Johnny Abbott from Staten Island came in. He was a little chubby guy. He used to eat French fries, and he had this big band, and he's like leading the band with a French fry, and he had English horns and French horns and had a harp. I did it for like Laurie Records, and then I put this. I heard, what was it? Picking Up Good Vibrations. The Beatles, the
Beach Boys.
So I put this interlude. There was like 3 verses in a row. So I put "Will the Circle Be Unbroken" between a couple of the verses. Just with a sitar, and I just arranged the thing like that, and I left it. I thought, it's a statement. I felt like doing it, and I did it. And the next thing I know, it's like starts going up the charts. So it's really I gotta say, it's really like a song that's really not in my wheelhouse. And,
right.
It's really not.
How high did it go on the charts?
It was
number 1 in Chicago. I can tell you that.
It was like number 1 and Hit the Road Jack, and that song kept going number 1. Number 1.
And you talk about people who've covered songs, and you guys all have songs been covered. But you talk about the scale or the scope. Now, within the first couple 2-3 years of you recording that, who else recorded it? Even a little bit later. So look at the scope. So you got Dion, but then you got Marvin Gaye, Ray Charles, Moms Mabley, and Leonard Nimoy. So talk about something that transcends genres.
Oh, man.
Smokey Robinson.
Smokey.
I never forget Moms Mabley. She went on Johnny Carson, and sang it. And she sat down, And Johnny Carson said to her, she was talking about finding love. He said, you know what the Beatles say, Mom? He says, money can't buy you love. And Mom's Mabley said, Johnny, you give me $1 million, I'll do my own shopping.
She was something. She was really something.
So did you write that song?
No, I just
No, you didn't. You
I
just
wrote
did
the
it.
melody to it, the melody and the arrangement kind of thing. You know, I just
So did you get songwriting on it, or did
no,
you?
no,
Okay,
no, I didn't.
just curious. Because
But you talk about some of these legends, and you know, G. I mean, you know, you're on these shows. Worked with some of the, I mean, David Bowie, Mick Jagger, Tina Turner. I mean, some of these people that you just, I mean, it's just mind blowing who you've worked with. But you did the tour for you did the Wall tour with Roger Waters.
Right.
Was that a very was that a different spin for you from some of the other stuff you were doing?
Well, it was really different in the sense that it wasn't like a rock and roll band. It was a theatrical production.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I wound up playing bass for more than half the show because Roger was acting. You know, he was out being the guy, you know. And
Tommy.
so, you know, it was really interesting in that sense. It took me a minute to get used to that. But like once I got that, you know, that, okay, that's what we're doing. We're doing theater here. Then we had a great time. And Roger treated us great. And, you know, we traveled in very nice style. I thought I had done some big tours before.
Yeah.
That was a big tour.
Well, what about your experience with Dylan? I mean, that's another.
Fantastic. But Bob, as far as like traveling and stuff, was just the opposite. I mean, he liked to go very low profile, you know, slide into town. We would stay at some very funky places, which I enjoy, you know. Not everybody in the entourage enjoyed staying in some of those places where we stayed, but you know, Bob didn't like to make a big fuss anywhere.
So,
where did you grow up?
I grew up in Pennsylvania.
I don't know where you get that attitude on guitar. Who the hell did you listen to?
I don't know. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about what, Dion, when you were talking before, what I've always tried to do with the guitar is listen to the singer, you know, and if you try to compliment or play along, play kind of like, you know, learn from what the singer's singing, then it's going to work. It's you know, because you got to play the song. I was never one of those kind of guitar players that wanted to like go, you know, listen to me. I always thought, well, it'd be better to just support the song, support the singer, and you know,
That's what I was telling Ron and
keep getting work.
Mine before you got on, that you guys have the ability to really, some gift you have that you get inside the song like that. You know,
Well, I always loved guys like James Burton, you know, who played with Ricky Nelson and then with Elvis Presley for many years. You know, Burton, everything he plays isn't just like the perfect lick at the moment. It's money. It's a hit. Every lick he plays, you go, yeah, I'd buy a record just to hear that over and over. You know, he's ridiculous. But those kind of guys, you know, I love Teenie Hodges, the guy that played on Al Green's records, you know, the great Memphis guitar player. Man, incredible. Curtis Mayfield.
Oh,
you know.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
Awesome, man.
Great stuff. And of course, you know, the obvious guys, Jeff Beck and Hendrix and Clapton. You know, of course, I listen to all those guys. But you know, Albert King, B.B. King, Freddie King, those guys I really studied, you know, sat with
King brothers,
played them over and over and over. I was lucky I got to see Albert play a lot because Bill Graham would use him to open for people at the Fillmore East. I have a ticket stub from '68, $5, Albert King, Jethro Tull, and the Jeff Beck Group.
Oh,
come on. That was when Rod was singing. Ron Wood was playing bass, you know, Mickey Hopkins, and Mickey Waller on drums, Carmine, right?
They used to call him Sticky Wallet.
Sticky Waller.
Yeah, that's Rod used to call him Sticky Rod while he
Yeah.
never like paid for anything.
I love it, King.
Great. I love it.
Yeah, we're talking
You know-
about all these. Go ahead, Carmine. I'm sorry.
Well, we met Jeff Beck in England, and then Vanilla Fudge was doing a Coke commercial, and our guitar player got sick, and he was in town, probably doing one of the shows, the first Jeff Beck tour, and we needed a guitar player, so we had the same lawyer. So he called Jeff, and Jeff came down and played on the Coke commercial with us. That's actually on YouTube, and it was great. I mean, me and Tim Bogert, we started playing with Jeff and said, "Whoa,
Yeah.
we want to play
Yeah.
with this guy."
Yeah.
You know, and
I
we ended
sent
up doing it.
song.
Great.
I sent him a song. I didn't know if he would play on it, but he said, "I'll play on it if I could put it on my album." I said, "Okay."
Sure. Why not? Why wouldn't you?
I'll give you a few more, please.
That's
So
right.
did he play on it?
Yeah.
He's on
He's
your
on there.
record. He's on this record.
Yeah, on Blues with Friends, I did an album last year.
Oh, another album.
He played a song called "Can't Start Over Again." He's got kind of magic. It's amazing when I listen to all these guys. Like
I know.
you
I
got
know.
an amp, you got a guitar, but
But it sounds different.
it's your hands,
The
it's
feel
like
different. The feel.
The hand.
Vibe.
hands,
Yep.
his heart, and his
Yeah.
soul.
Everybody's different.
Different sound. You get like
Yeah, I got that too when I did my record. I mean, we
Right.
had the same trio. We had the same trio of music, and then everybody put their stamp on it.
Yep.
You know, and different feel, different way to play, different sounds.
it's fun.
It's awesome.
To listen to. It's
Yeah.
real. A lot
I
of
love it.
You know, we're talking about legends and icons again, and listen to you guys talk about this stuff. It's just amazing. Dion, I know you get asked about this a lot, but a lot of people I don't think really know your connection here on the day the music died. We lost Big Bopper, Richie Valens, and obviously Buddy Holly, and you were part of that whole thing. Can you take us down that road?
Well, I went on tour with Buddy Holly in 1958 for about a month, and then, so then when we put when the agency put the tour together in '59, we got together. He wanted me on it. I thought, yeah, I'd love to go on it. You know, so we embarked on that thing, and we were crisscrossing the Midwest for about it was like a 3-week tour, but 2 weeks into it, we didn't have like a Golden Eagle bus. You know, it was like a little yellow Baptist school bus.
Yeah.
So
Those Freed shows.
yeah, we were sleeping, sitting up, and all those fan belts kept breaking, and the heater kept breaking. So Buddy got fed up with it, and he chartered a plane one night. And he said, "Hey, listen, we could get to Fargo, North Dakota in an hour and a half." But when I won a coin toss because there was 3 of us. There was 4 seats. Buddy, the pilot, and 2 seats. It was a Beechcraft Bonanza. It was a small plane, and he was trying to recruit us because if he could fill up the plane, the overall price would be less for him. So it came to $36 a piece.
Oh, wow.
I said, nah, that was rent in the Bronx. My parents always argued about this $36. So I declined the thing. That was my primary reason for not going. I said, man, I'm not going to spend $36. That was like $800 back then.
Yeah, it was big money back then.
So, I declined the thing. But the next day, that plane went down like 4 minutes after it took off. It was like pilot.
Wow.
What they call it is, I don't know, they call it scuttering or something under the clouds, where they like look at.
Maybe it's stalled. Stalled, maybe. The engine might have stalled.
No, it's like when there's bad weather, they fly under the.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And they look at the farmhouses and the lights and everything. But when it's real bad weather, you don't know if you're looking at stars or you lose. The kid that was flying the plane, they had changed the the system in it. Instead of to show if you like horizontal, they put a different kind of system in it. He didn't know how to read the thing, and it's like the John F. Kennedy Jr. thing. You don't know if you're not flying horizontal, if you're not flying level, if you're just a little, you'll drive the plane right into the ground.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. That's what the report said. It was just pilot error. He didn't know where he was going.
When we were on tour with Rod, we had our own Convair 880 as a 4-engine prop, good sized plane. And we were on tour, and that was the same exact plane that Leonard Skinner went down in.
Yeah.
Wow, 77.
At the same time. And we were
Jeez.
like, oh man, we're in the same kind of plane. So we got really paranoid for the rest of the tour.
But you don't hear about is
It's horrible
that tour.
when-
That tour kept on going. I think Bobby V filled in, and then Frankie Avalon and Fabian. I mean, they kept on going. They just they filled. They didn't. I thought they would have canceled the tour, but it seemed like the tour kept on going.
Yeah, I was telling Waylon Jennings was playing bass on that tour. He wasn't Waylon Jennings at the time. I think 20 years later he put out "Mama, Don't Let Your Sons Grow Up to Be Cowboys."
Cowboys, yeah.
But at the time we became tight, and we went on with the tour. We did the best we could. Then at the end of the tour, we went on another 2 weeks. And, I was singing some of, I don't know, I was in shock.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
got on, it ended in Springfield, Illinois, and I went to Illinois, and I went to Chicago to fly home. And I got on a new kind of jet. It was called an electric jet. It was half propeller, half jet. And
turbojet.
Yeah, and Sammy Davis was on. So I was sitting with Sammy Davis. I thought, if the plane goes down, I'll die with Sammy Davis.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one way of thinking about it. My God.
I got back on the horse. I thought, I can't live my life in fear. So I just kept going. But, I'll be honest with you, Ron. I miss those guys. Buddy was just a very statuesque, very giving kind of deliberate. He was very he was very like orderly and formal off stage. And you strap a Stratocaster around him. He'd walk out, take a stance, and was like, hold on to your ass. You didn't know where you were going. He had like this different personality with that guitar. So and Richie Valens was a sweetheart. We all had you'd appreciate this, G.E. We all had new Stratocasters, and we were in a contest to see who could make it ring the longest. No, you shake my nerves and you rattle my no. We see who could make it. I don't know who won, but but the Big Bopper was a great guy, a great songwriter. We had, for 2 weeks, we had just a great time in the back of the bus, sharing our different brands of rock and roll. Richie was from the Barrio out in Chicano, out in the valley in California, and Buddy was from Lubbock, Texas. I was from the Bronx. I had another kind of thing going, So, we were appreciating each other. But I miss those guys, man. I wish they were around today,
Yeah.
They're so young. What was Buddy, like 29 or something?
No,
28?
22.
22. I mean, it's crazy.
Richie Valens was 17.
Oh, and it's something.
Man.
And the Big Bopper was like an old man. He was 26.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. I mean, it's you think about how much they gave to music. It's just a short time on this earth.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they lived out their lives?
Yeah,
Awesome.
they were talented guys, man. Really talented guys. Even the Big Bopper wrote a couple of #1 records for George Jones.
Incredible.
Wow.
You talked about those Stratocasters. GE, you got that Michael Bloomfield Telecaster?
No, man. I made that video with it, but no, I never had that guitar. That was
I played with Michael.
you played with Michael Bloomfield, man. He he influenced me big time. Those first couple Paul Butterfield records,
Yeah.
his
He's a
playing on
great
there,
player. Great
forget
player.
it.
Yes, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I caught those guys in the early days in the Village. I think my wife and I were with another couple at the Cafe Wa. They were like, with Elvin Bishop.
Yeah.
Bishop snowing out
Yeah.
through the roof. I just was like, I'll never forget that concert. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I never heard anything like it.
Nope. They were magic.
Oh.
Magical.
And they were
So, G.E.
early. They were early,
yeah.
for white guys playing blues. I mean, I know that they like were from Chicago. They were there. They grew up listening to Howlin' Wolf and stuff, Muddy. But to record that record in '65, that first Paul Butterfield record. That's early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Gee, what do you got going on these days now? Are you coming out on tour with anybody? New album? What you got going?
Not really like on tour. I have a couple buddies and we do this thing called Masters of the Telecaster and a guy named Jim Weeder and me. And, we go around and play, and we usually get another guitar player who plays Telecaster who will play with us in the various, places, mostly like East Coast. We don't.
Sure.
I'm getting old, man. I can't.
Come on. And Dion, Stomping Ground, we wish you so much luck with that. You know what? I'm not wishing you luck. You don't need it. You don't need it on that album.
Great record, man.
Hey, G.E., I gotta thank you for really doing a great job on that song. I love it. It's my favorite song on the album.
It was an honor to play with you, man, on your record.
Jimmy Vivino too.
Yeah, but like for me to be on a Dion record, that means a lot,
And thank you so much.
Well, let me do something here real quick. I want to get down all the way. Okay, hang on.
Get down,
all right. No, here I'm on. No. Here's what I'm doing. Get down on. No, I am on my knees, begging Dion to come to Chicago. I've been trying to get you. I've been talking to Dick Fox and everybody else, begging anything. The people, the Midwest Chicago, are dying for you out here, Dion. It's been so many years. I'm literally on my knees begging.
We can do that. We can do that. I can do that. We're going to go out next. We put a tour together. We're putting it together in July of next year. I think that's when.
Ever since we brought you out, it's so many years ago now. Don't forget the Midwest. I know you do East Coast. I know you do Florida. Don't forget us out here. You don't have to come out in January out in Chicago. We get it.
Chicago. How could you forget Chicago? What do you?
Come on.
Gotta do Chicago.
You gotta do. We got all your Italian cousins.
I'm going there in a couple of weeks. I'll be there.
And you forget Chicago? What are you, insane?
You guys, thank you so much. A legendary night. G.E. Smith, God bless you. We love you. I love your style, brother. I really do, aside from everything else.
Let's exchange some numbers.
Yes, numbers. Dion, God bless you, man. Thank you for all you've done for us over the past 82 less 17, all those years. Yeah, and man. Thank you for the next 82 years you got, because I think you got that coming. And thank you all for watching Hangin' Bangin' Artists on Lockdown. We're here each week on Artists on Lockdown. The same bad time, same bad channel next week, Thursday, 7 o'clock East Coast time, 6 o'clock on Central, and 4 o'clock Pacific. Don't forget to like and share and go on Spotify and just do all that stuff, because these shows are magical. Look at our guests tonight. Thank you all for helping us, all the people who are helping us that produce it, Steve Love and Ben and Gwen and George and everybody. And thank you. We'll see you next time on Hangin' Bangin', Artists on Lockdown. Love these guys.